Wonder Woman 1984. All right, let's review this one using my space system. Every category in the space system gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best you can get in any of those categories. You add them up, you get a score out of 10. So everyone hates this movie. And I think it's just become popular to hate it versus actually evaluating it. I know it came out at this time and everyone's using these, oh, it's an agenda thing and all this other stuff, but I don't see it that way. I like this movie, and I'm going to explain my position, and then you guys can feel free to explain your position on it. For the storyline, I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 2, so not a perfect score of 2. I love the beginning where young Diana is learning about cheating. She sort of cheats on that game. She gets caught cheating. It's like, you can't just do that. Then later, it's about the wishing stone, and she's missed Steve Trevor. Now, you got to think that for someone who's immortal, decades could be like nothing. Like, if you lost the love of your life and, 1 year from the day you lost that person, you'd still be grieving. Yeah, but you're not immortal. So if you're immortal, 1 day could be 50 years. You know what I mean? Or 1 year could be 50 years. Like, for Diana, time is different. So she's still mourning Steve's loss. She's still trying to maintain her secret identity, which is really cool. You're introduced to the cheetah, of course. Kristen Wiig plays the cheetah. And Maxwell Lord is Pedro Pascal. Where the story fails for me is with Pedro Pascal, with Maxwell Lord. Becoming the wishing stone is cool. So the wishing stone, you make a wish, you get it, but then it takes something from you, presumably your best attribute. So when Diana wishes for Steve to be alive, she starts to lose her powers. When Barbara wishes to be more like Diana, she starts to lose her goodness and her kind of purity, and she's becoming a bit more evil. And that's played out very slowly through the movie until she becomes the full cheetah at the end. Max wants to become the stone. So he gets his wish granted, but he's now getting, like, the trade-off is he's also losing his life a little bit, and he's becoming more mean. He loved his son, but he's becoming so power hungry now. So that's the trade-off. But then now, the confusing part is that now he has that ability. So he lost a part of himself when he became the stone. But now, as he grants wishes, he can choose the attribute for the payment of the wish. Whereas before it was a mystical thing. Anytime you have magic, it gets very confusing, and this is confusing, and you start to be like, wait, what's going on again? The moral is that nothing comes easy, which Diana learned as a little girl in the first part, and Diana learns that she has to renounce her wish. You can't have Steve back, he's dead. So even though, he's a good guy and you're good, I'm sorry, you can't have this, which sucks because she doesn't ask for things, but it is what it is. And when she renounces her wish, it's very sad. My problem is that I don't think, I like the ending where she uses the lasso to connect to Maxwell Lord, who is now projecting himself out through television. And through that, everyone is seeing the truth. I don't think everyone would have renounced their wishes, or, I don't even know if it would have been like half. So I do love that there's a hero speech at the end that convinces people. So she does her speech. It's connected to the lasso, so everyone gets to see the truth. So it doesn't just make you tell the truth. It helps you to see the truth. And that's why people renounce their wish, because they see all the harm they're causing. I don't know if they still would renounce some of their wishes, but that's a different argument. So 1.5 for the story. The pacing, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 2. I personally am not really bored during this movie because I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, and I buy into their relationship, and to me that's cool, and there's a lot of cool action, but the Maxwell Lord parts start to drag a little bit because it's repetitive, and he's not really building to a villain that you can really beat up. Like Wonder Woman could just beat him up in 5 seconds. So the physical threat is Cheetah. I would have almost preferred more Cheetah stuff and make this movie shorter. This movie does not need to be over 2 hours. It could probably be 100 minutes because the story gets very convoluted. So they could have cut a lot of that out, shrunk it down. Way too long. Anytime a movie is over 2 hours. Again, I'm doing my space system. I personally think it's fine. I'm actually not bored and I enjoy the whole thing, but it is too long if you're being real with yourself. The artistry, I'm giving it a 2 out of 2. This is the best soundtrack. Hans Zimmer killed it. It's very heroic. I get chills. I bought it on iTunes. When you buy stuff on iTunes, I actually bought it on iTunes. Played in the car all the time. It's got the theme of Wonder Woman on there. I love it. Heroic music. It feels very empowering. Great. Her costume is bloody 10 out of 10. I love it. It's bright, colorful. She has the lasso. The action scenes are wicked. They're intense. They're fun. It's 1984. They're telling you in the title it's going to be a bit cheesy. It's going to be a bit overblown. It's going to be colorful. They're telling you that in the title. I think Cheetah looks pretty cool. I love the gold armor. It looks awesome to me. I have zero problems with the look here. You got the invisible jet. She flies. I think everything looks great. I enjoy this aspect of the movie. The characters, I'm going to give it 1.5. I really like the characters. Cheetah, I like her. I like Kristen Wiig. I like that they showed that she became more evil. And a lot of people misinterpreted a lot of stuff that happened. There was a guy that kept troubling her. And the point is not that men are bad. See, everyone watches these movies now with this thing in their mind like, oh, they're going against men or they hate everybody. It's like, hold on a second. Drunk guy on the side of the street in 1984, hooting and hollering at the pretty girls. That is not anything that's unrealistic. The point of that scene is not the man. The point of that scene is how Barbara reacts to it. When she's timid and weak and kind, she's just kind of like, oh, and the other homeless guy is there too, and then Diana comes and helps her. Later, as she loses herself and becomes more evil, she kicks the crap out of that guy. And the movie is not saying that he deserved to get the crap beat out of him. Because the music is such that you're like, whoa, this is the darker side of Barbara. And the homeless fellow who she was friends with is even appalled. He's like, Barbara, like, what's going on? And she's like, stay out of my way. You're like, whoa. It's not about the guy trying to be bad or getting what he deserves. That is not what that is saying. It is saying that she's becoming bad. So I think people need to like interpret these things a little bit different. Like now everyone's got this thing where it's like you automatically assume the worst, in the filmmaker. It's like, it's the same person, it's the same people who made part one. Like they're not out to make you look like an idiot. The stuff where Steve's soul or, inhabits that fellow and people are like, well, she slept with him and all that. It's like, okay. I mean, but she didn't know that guy was coming back. She's like, oh, you're just Steve now? Like what's going on? And I mean, this stuff happens in big, like this body swapping, mind swapping, becoming younger, becoming older, 18 again. There's a million movies. It's an 80s trope. This happens all of the time. So I don't know why people were upset over that. This in big. So are you gonna accuse the woman of like harassment because he's a little kid in Tom Hanks's body? This is nonsense. And she says we have to figure out how you ended up like this. So, and she renounces it, which is really like, that's crazy. Steve is great in this. I love his like, wow, the 80s, this is so fantastic. I love the way he's this wide-eyed look to everything. Gal Gadot is awesome. All the parts with Wonder Woman are the damn best. The only character is Maxwell Lord yet again. Nothing against Pedro Pascal in particular. I just couldn't get into that character that much. Like he's okay. The stuff with his son is a bit contrived and I just can't, I don't know. It's like, oh, my son. And the kid's just like, oh, okay, Dad. That was all kind of weak. So that was really the weakest character. He just didn't really do it for me. Again, I still really like this movie, but if I have to give some sort of critical opinion, I'm gonna have to ding it on that. For my enjoyment factor, I personally love this movie. I'm gonna give it a 1.5. What's taking it down from being a 2 is that it's too long. Maxwell Lord isn't really that cool for me. It's just repetitive stuff. Like he wants more oil and power, and it's just like repetitive scenes. And I don't think the story warranted that length. It could have been a better story. However, I still really like this movie. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. I personally love this movie, and I know people hate it, and that's totally fine. This is one of those movies where I'm on one side of the line and everyone else is on the other side of the line. Doesn't bother me at all if you hate this movie or if you think I'm an idiot for liking it. It doesn't affect me because I'm a person that doesn't judge people by what movies they like or don't like. And if you're the type of person that judges people by the movies they like and don't like, then that's fine. That's something that's on you. It's not on me. So I always find that if I enjoy a movie, I won. I watched the movie and loved it, which means I won because I loved it. So if you didn't like it, you lost because you lost 2 hours and 20 minutes on a movie that you hated. So if I won, I'm not angry at people that hated it because I liked it. Remember, that has to go in reverse as well. If I thought a movie was garbage and you're pissed off at me that I put Joker 2 sucks, or that I put, whatever, this movie sucks and everyone gets mad. Why are you getting mad? If you loved the movie, you loved it. So give yourself a round of applause. You watched the movie and loved it. I watched the movie and hated it. I thought Dune 2 sucked. It's boring and crap. And I read the books. And the books are awesome. They're 10 out of 10. This movie sucked. And people are like, well, you're an idiot. Dune's great. Okay, well, then you love the movie. Why are you on me? Like, what do you care if I hate it or not? Same thing. I don't care if you hate this movie. I thought it was great. I do, but I'm also not blind to the flaws of the movie. Now, for some people, the story might be so flawed that they want to give it like a 0, right? Or they thought it was so boring and long. I didn't think that, so I'm just giving you what I thought. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you thought. If you're going to personally attack me in the comments, there's a 99% chance that I won't care. And the fact that I have to even say all this on a review of a movie is also mind-boggling. Like, what do you care? But anyways, I'm prepared for it. Do what you must. Have at it. I love this movie. It's great. So there you go. Please like the video, consider subscribing, and check out the playlist. Until next time.